What's up, everyone? It's Thursday. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is time for Macro Talk 2. How's everybody doing? You won't believe what just happened. Well, you probably will believe what just happened. I have been setting up cameras since Tuesday so that we would have enough cameras for me to show you everything I want to show you, like my screen and my microscope. Oh, that's gone off too. Okay. Then one camera over there and another. What is that all about? I have to wonder. Gremlins. How's everybody doing? Who's here? Is anybody here? Can anybody hear me? Let me see if anybody can hear me. Let me get a thumbs up on the volume, guys. We've been having microphonic issues as well. So Chris is here. Welcome. You sent me an email last week and you're amazed that I haven't responded. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. A lot of people sent me emails last week that I haven't responded to yet. I'm a little bit behind. Okay, so you're looking to get in touch with... Okay, all right, I'll take care of that for you. No problem. Hey, Lance, good evening. And you posted a link in Discord, concerning Michael Erlewine's book on lenses. Great, fantastic. Okay, everybody will read that and go look at it. Demetrius, welcome. May I expect the same or similar performance between the Eelnicke 2.8N and the previous Simply 2.8? No, you should not expect the same performance from the 2.8N. You should expect considerably better performance. I always used to think it was just because of the coatings, but the coatings are just one of the reasons. There were quite a few changes, actually. It is a better lens and definitely worth upgrading if that's what you're planning on doing. Yes, you will notice a difference. Hey, Walter, how's Washington today? And can anybody hear me? I'm not hearing any thumbs up. Well, you don't hear thumbs up, do you? It's a visual thing. Can you hear me? According to my audio mixer, you can hear me. But until somebody says I can hear you, I think I'm going to stop talking. Hey, Phil, how's it going in Cambria? Yes, Gary Russell has given me a thumbs up. That means you can hear me. If you can hear me in Peebles, all is well. I've got several things I want to talk to you about today. Some of it's deadly serious. Most of it's not. And I want to do a demo. I want to show you something. But let me run through quickly and say hi, because I only get to talk to you guys once a week. And Ingolf is here, so hey Ingolf, glad you made it. And Hembrodian from the northeast of England. I'm sure the weather's lovely up there right now, as it always is. Walter, do you know where I can buy a tabletop base for my macro rigs? A tabletop base. Is the tabletop not the top part? And is the base not the base? I'm confused. I bought a piece of granite yesterday. It was at a thrift shop. Surprise, surprise. It's big, 2 feet by 3 feet, and just solid granite. But you're looking for something different. Tell me down below what you're looking for. A tabletop or a base? If you're looking for just a tabletop, you can buy one at any of the home. You're in America, yes you are. So you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and they sell them. But you know the price of wood is absolutely insane. I went to buy a 2x2 square of 3/4 inch plywood the other day. $48. Yeah, I told them I'd grow a tree. I wasn't in that big a hurry. $48. And that wasn't even their best plywood. Incredible. Patrick's here. Welcome, Patrick. And let me see. Lance was asking, talking about lenses, he says, has anyone got thoughts on the M Zuiko 90mm Macro Pro? It says it has been said to autofocus at up to 4x? I don't think so. I don't think that's right. Does anybody know that lens? I haven't used it. That's a micro 4/3 lens, isn't it? No, I've seen it, but I haven't used it. I don't think it goes up to 4x, but I may be wrong. One of these chaps will know. Keith is here. Welcome, Keith. You haven't made it to one of these before, I don't think. I'm glad you did. Mike from Phoenix. It's now sunny. It'll be sunny till winter time. And Sam, hey, how's it going? Nils, welcome. How's Norway? Snow is slowly melting. Only 4 feet left to go. All right, well, whatever. It's your fault. Shouldn't be there. Sunny South Carolina, Gary. Okay, cool. And Allan, well, welcome, Allan, from Tennessee. That's where my daughter lives. And Jim's here, also from, well, I thought you were in Alabama, Jim. No, you're not. You're in Washington. Welcome. Susan, Huntsville, diplomat here. Welcome. And Bud is our moderator today. So if you say anything bad or swear or anything, he will erase you or erase your message, which I can't remember which one we agreed to. It's one of those two. Don't risk it. And Jim is asking Bud about his printer because that's what I did this last weekend. I asked Bud what printer I should get because a very generous donor has donated a printer to the cause. Captain Martinez donated one a year ago or so, 2 years ago maybe, but it can't be fixed according to the people who know these things. So this is going to be something completely different. This is Jan Nelson, who sponsored the insect study last year, is going to do this year, and I think that's fantastic. You know, Bud also did something fantastic. He was able to get the photo tube for me for my surgical beam splitter for the microscope so that we could finally start doing some work together. Well, well, as frustrating and as disappointing as it is, even after getting the beam splitter and then the tube, and then the adapters for the camera, it turns out that this device is not actually made, or this adapter is not made for a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. It has basically zero room to put a camera. So any amount of flange focal distance in the camera puts it out of focus, and you can't get the thing parfocal without it. So I'm working on another solution, but yeah, I've got the old camera tube on today because I need to show you something through the microscope, and that'll just have to be the best way. So that's frustrating. That's frustrating. Have you guys been keeping up with all the brouhaha about ChatGPT, about AI? Have you? I think you can't help but have been paying attention to that because it's everywhere. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's got some issue with it or other. But you know what I don't hear anybody talking about is being afraid of this. Am I the only person who's feeling that this is a really bad thing that's going on? Yeah. About 10 years ago, I read a book by a guy named Ray Kurzweil. It was called The Singularity. And he was ridiculed, I think, for that book, for being such a scaredy cat, and all the things he was saying about AI and other computer developments. He talked a lot about how computer science has advanced by leaps and bounds and been exponential in the way it's grown. But he talked about this thing that I'd never heard of at the time called the singularity. That was the name of the book, I think. The singularity is near. And the singularity is a time, sometime in the future, when our technology will have become sufficiently intelligent or capable that we are no longer in charge. Basically, that's very, very broad strokes summarizing, but that is what it is that he's talking about, and I am very concerned that the kind of cavalier way we're just charging ahead into this without asking any of the hard questions, like, you know, how do we turn this off if we need to? That type of thing keeps me up at night. Quite literally keeps me up at night. I worry about this stuff, and you know, we're more concerned about term papers getting written by robots instead of by our children. I don't know. I would have been all for that if it would have given them a good grade. But anyway, yeah, it's and I'm as guilty as anybody. I thoroughly enjoy using ChatGPT, and I've been using it for all kinds of things. But just think about this: when ChatGPT came out, it kind of snuck out at the end of last year, and there wasn't much of a brouhaha about it then. It was out. People heard about it, and some people checked it out. Most people didn't. And then all of a sudden, over the course of a week or two, there are 100 million people signed up for ChatGPT. And a month ago, my friend Rick tested it and came back with a report saying it was terrible. It was absolutely shocking at mathematics. And of course, he does mathematics, so everybody is shocking at mathematics to him. But he was saying, yeah, it got all the answers wrong, and everything optically asked it got wrong. Well, yes, it doesn't do mathematics or pictures or anything like that. It's a language program. It makes up words, and that's what it does. It lies. If it's forced to. If it doesn't have the facts, it'll just make some up. But that was a couple of months ago. In the course of the last 4 or 5 weeks, now ChatGPT has integrated with mathematics programs, and all of a sudden it's quite good at mathematics. It was always good at writing computer code, and I've been using it to write all my computer code because it does it 1,000 times faster than I do. And then pictures. Now it can look at pictures and tell you what they are, or it can, presumably, if it can't already, it'll show you pictures when you ask to see a picture of something. So I think it's significant and worrying, and somebody needs to be asking, what happens next? Nobody out there knows where intelligence is going to cross over from the very focused single area of specialty intelligence that computers have now to general intelligence, which is kind of like what some of us have. Not all of us, mind you, but some of us do. Some of you do. Anyway, I'm worried about it, so I just wanted to ruin everybody else's week too and have you worry about it as well, because I think there's something here that we need to be worried about. We need to pay attention to. Can I tell you about what I'm going to do today as far as a demonstration? I meet once a week with my mentor, and we meet on Wednesday night, and we talk about all kinds of things to do with extreme macro photography. And one of the things that we were talking about last night was computer chips. About 6 months ago, I decided that, you know what, computer chips are three-dimensional. They're built on a piece of silicone, but they have a transparent material that holds all the layers separated and insulates the transistors from one another. And I thought, if you get a sufficiently interesting one and you get the lighting right, you ought to be able to shine the light on it in such a way that you can get a stereo image if you were to synthetically shift it. So I started doing some experiments, and I did a whole bunch, and they were all terrible. They didn't show any kind of depth at all, and I was frustrated, very frustrated with it. And I can't show you the pictures, but they are over on photomacrography.net, and I urge you I can't do it while I'm live, but if you go over there and search for stereo computer chips, you'll see what Rick has been able to do with his 20 times setup, Mitu Toyo Raynox type setup. He was able to do what I was unable to do and got some of the most compelling stereo imagery I've ever seen. It is several views of one computer chip. Actually, he was using an RFID chip, a radio frequency chip from, you know the thing that goes off when you try to shoplift something from Walmart and they drag you back in and sit you in that little room for a couple of days while the police chat with you. You do know that. Okay, good. Well, that was caused by the chip in the negligee that you were trying to walk out with. Yeah, that was on the price tag, and that's what made the alarm go off. So that thing has got a little tiny chip in it, or some of them do. And anyway, that's what he was looking at, and he got these amazing pictures, and it made me think, well, I must have done something wrong. So I thought, well, I'll try it again. I'll just do it better. So I went to my stash of computer chips, and they were all gone. And I remembered I gave them all away last year. I don't know why I did that. All of them. It was because I said if anybody wanted one, let me know. And a lot of people wanted one, so I gave them all away, and I didn't have any that were any good. So I started cracking open some that I had left over that hadn't been opened. You know, the ones that are still wrapped in epoxy. And I had such an incredibly lucky day or evening cracking these open. I've got about a dozen or so really nice chips. I wanted to show them to you. That's not the demonstration. That's just what I managed to scoop out of these things. Let me see if I can get a picture through the microscope. Apparently not. Let me try something here. Well, I can see it loud and clear here, so yeah, I'll tell you what, if I... Nope. Well, this is disappointing. Ah, nope, wrong camera. Well, I don't know what I did wrong. Okay, plan B. There's got to be, I know what I'll do. I'll just show you with the other camera. Yeah, this might work. Let's try this. Since I actually showed you, that's my light, since I actually showed you how to uncap one of these chips. So I thought, well, some of you might not know even where chips live. So I found something that has chips in it that doesn't work, it's broken. And I buy these things for a couple of dollars from the thrift shop when they're broken. They cut the cords off them and I'll buy them because all the goodies inside are still good. And this is one of my favorite ones because it's got the smallest stepper motor I've ever seen in it, which is something else I like to harvest. So I thought I could show you all of that at the same time and then pull out a chip, show you how to get it off the board, and then show you how to crack it open, just in case you're interested. But it's poisonous. It puts off fumes. So I don't want anybody to get poisoned. So don't do it. But you can if you want, because you're a grown-up. So I'll show you how to do that. Is there anybody I need to say hello to before we get started? Probably there is. I think that I had got as far as saying hi to Harold, where the snow is still 4 feet deep, according to your buddy up north. Graham's here. Welcome, Graham. Low frequency hum from my audio again. All right. How about that? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the. I better not mess with it, Graham. If I try and fix it, it will definitely stop working completely. I thought I had it. I thought I had it down today. I really did. I think there might be another microphone on, is what it is. Let me just leave it all alone. I'll leave it all alone for right now. Yeah, Blue Sage Media can hear me fine. No hum reported. Ulrich Nordoff in Pretoria, South Africa, can also hear me fine. This is promising. Alistair says the volume's okay today. I think, Graham, you might be gaslighting me. Is that possible? I don't think I know what that word means. But yeah, I think it's where you blame somebody for something. Don't know that for a fact. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about 3D printers, and the one that was recommended to me was the Prusa, something or other, Mark III, i3 Mark III. And the other one that I looked at that I liked was called the Bamboo. And I thought, well, I wouldn't want that if it's made of bamboo, because the hot end would set fire to it. But apparently that's just the name, not the actual what it's made of. But nobody else has said, yeah, get the Bamboo. The Bamboo's a good choice. They say, never heard of it. Get the Prusa. So I think that that's what we're leaning towards. Photographer 85 thinks that I'm getting slick with the cameras and things. It's because you've never been on YouTube before, it would be my guess, because this is not slick. This is the opposite of slick. This is embarrassingly cumbersome. Did you know that you could buy WD-40 in a pen? You did? Oh, I didn't. It actually looks like a pen, except it puts out oil. Isn't that incredible? And this was at the thrift shop. Yeah, I've got to find some little things to oil. That's apropos of nothing. I just caught it out the corner of my eye. So yeah, let me run down through this and then we'll do our little demo. David is here from Jangloff. Where are you from, David? That is not a name that's familiar to me. Eastern Europe, possibly, perchance. Rob from Peebles is here, so is Arthur, not from Peebles, and Jay, good. No hum from Phil. Susan, audio's good. Okay, good. It's nice. I'm glad. Audio is lost when you shift to the microscope camera. Was it lost completely? I've done something to mess it up, haven't I? I don't know what it was. It was working just fine a little while ago, but it's okay. I'll put some pictures. Oh, you know what? You want to see some pictures of those chips I was just bragging about? I bet you do. Let me put them on the other screen and then I'll show you. I didn't think about that. Help improve Adobe products. No, I don't think I will. Not right now. So these are just some snapshots I took because I was going to send them to somebody. They're not good pictures, but they'll show you what I was looking at. And normally my hit rate with modern chips, which are very, very thin little silicone, it looks like I am stuttering and freezing. Are we going again? Okay. I found the stereo picture that Rick sent over. This is a stereo. If you have glasses, I think you need glasses for this one. It will. Let me see. I don't know why my my frame rate just dropped like a stone. I don't know what that's all about, but hopefully we're back on again. Yeah, this is a glasses one. If you've got some glasses, now would be the time to put them on. But yeah, this is not a spectacular one compared to some of the other ones that he took. Let me show you one of the other ones, rather than sit on that one for too long. It's nice, but it's not as. This is some detail up close, very impressive, and you can really see the depth here. But these are still not. Yeah, if you've got glasses, that's impressive. That will really give you the full feel. You can very much see that these traces, these wires and transistors all stacked up, are actually layered one on top of the other with something clear in between them, and that's very much what you see when you look at these things in stereo. So what I did was I took just a couple of pictures and only a few of them. I actually stacked these, but I haven't stacked them yet. They are for stacking, is what I should have said. But these are gorgeous chips, and they completely decapped without any leaving any debris on them, without any scratches or other dings. Absolutely beautiful. This one is fantastic. I think I've got one of it in better focus. That might be a bit better. This is lovely. This one is very interesting with all kinds of color, and this is going to be good in stereo. It's very deep. What else did I find? This one. Look at this beautiful thing. And these were all what I would have normally said were low probability of getting them out of the package, and they wouldn't be very impressive if I did. That one's pretty boring. But since doing this, I've got another 10 or so that I've got out, and that's the ones I was trying to show you under the microscope. I'll try one more time to get the microscope going, because I really think that. Oh, you know what? I think I might have figured out why the microscope wasn't going. I had my irises shut down. That's not a good idea. No, you still can't see anything, can you? Oh well. I'm just going to fiddle with one thing very quickly. No, I don't think. No, we've been there, done that. Now, I'm afraid I wish I could say I knew what I'd done wrong here. I know it was working earlier. Okay, well, not to worry. Let me just look at the properties for the camera and see if that helps at all. This was what caused it to crash. Uh-oh. That looks promising. I know you're looking at my chip on the other screen, but that's because if you saw this. Oh no, you can see this, can't you? Yeah, you can. Now you can see me. But I think that is actually what I was trying to show you. No, it's not. Okay, I'm through wasting your time with this. No, it's no good. Which is a real shame, because I wanted you to see this. Well, let's go ahead and get these chips out, so that at least I can show you how to do that. We'll use the other camera, and I'm just going to move the microphone around here so that you can hear me, and I'm going to move the microscope out of the way. I don't think we need that anymore for right now. Oh dear, I think we might need it. to be out of the way. Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'll also move my little light here so that it gives us some added light on the scene. And then I'll grab some tools and see if you can see any of this. Haha, yeah, that's better. Okay, so this will be easier for you to see. So there's only three screws in it, and I'll take them out now. Everything else in here is kind of just clipped in. Now, I don't do this on stuff that works. I mean, I will buy stuff and fix it and give it away, but this is only on things that are completely broken that I do this, because this completely destroys them. So these little clippy things at the front are the only other thing that's holding it all together. Hang on, I'm off the camera for a second. There we go. So that's what it looks like inside. And the bits we're interested in are that's a bit better. Yeah, the bits we're interested in are these chips right here, especially that big one that says Sony. That's a nice one. And then the other bit is inside this gadget here. And this has just got clips on the edges that you can't see, but I'm just going to pry them off. We should get the chips off first, and then we'll do the tiny stepper motor if we have any time left over. There. It really does just rip off like that. Everything is so integrated, it just is plug and play. So unplug all the wires. By the way, if this thing has been actually plugged in, as you know, when you buy one, be very careful about touching anything on this board if it's been plugged in any time recently, because it can store up electrons in these little capacitors, and this one's got a very a tantalum capacitor somewhere underneath here that holds quite a bit of charge for such a tiny thing. There's 3 screws that hold this board in. What I'll do is I'll pull the board out, and then I'll show you how to get these chips off without damaging them. The trick is you've got to be very careful to get the chips off the board in their package without cracking them. All right, so we'll come back to the rest of it in a minute. Let's do this part. What I recommend you do is you grab a pair of pointy snippers. These are pointy snippers. See the sharpness of the end of them? All right, what I do is I'll start with this little one here. I just take the snippers and I pinch them together right across those solder lines where all the wires go into it, and then the other end peels up like that. You just bend it back and forward a couple of times and take it off. This will have a nice chip in it, but this is the one we really want. Do the same thing. You have to do this on 3 sides for a 4-sided solder, and I'm just scraping the tips across all the contacts. You can hear them break. Once you do 3 of them, it'll flap up, and I usually do it twice, each side, and then you just start to gently pinch underneath it and it'll start to rise up there, like that. Don't be in a hurry, because if it snaps, it always snaps right across the diagonal, and the chip is right in the middle. It's about 3 or 4 millimeters square, and it's right underneath this piece of epoxy that has the printing on it. So if you snap this, you will destroy the chip, and we don't want to do that. By the way, most modern chips are very, very hard to get decapped. The modern chips are so thin and delicate. Sony's the one exception to that rule. You're much better off if you've got some old electronics. Yeah, that's what'll happen if you get overly aggressive. These have wires coming into them from underneath. They don't come off easily, so I wouldn't worry about that. That's got one in it, but I'll do that later. Right, so we've got the chips off. We've got plenty of time. How are we going to get the silicone out of this package? Well, that's what we're going to do next. You need 2 pairs of pliers, like that, and a pair of tweezers, and some kind of ignition source. I use these little blow torches, but another thing that I frequently will use is a heat gun that blows hot air. Yeah, that's probably a safer way to do it, but seriously, don't do this except in a well-ventilated area. That's important. So let me show you what you do. I'll do a dummy run on this one, a practice run, and then we'll do the good one last. What you do is you take your pliers and you grab the chip down one edge like that. Doesn't matter which edge, because you're going to, once you get this thing good and heated, you're going to grab the other edge like that, and then you're going to twist them against one another. Now, I have learned from doing hundreds of these that the trick is to heat the front of the package. Warm the back of the package at first, but then put all of your attention on the front, and it doesn't take long with a flame. With a heat gun it takes a bit longer, but with a flame it does not take long. So let me show you. I'm going to turn this bad boy on. Alright. I'm not sure that's a good idea, having that light up there. You know what? I'm gonna move that. That would be just my luck. I'd set fire to my light. That's it out of the way. Alright, so where was I? We were doing fire. You can't really see the flame, can you? Oh well, not to worry. Doesn't matter, I'll be in front of it. So I grip it so that the label side is facing up. You can't see that, but the writing is on this side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat the back just a little. That just gets it up to temperature. And then I go to the front. I'll do it down here. And you have to listen, because it's going to make a cracking noise. If it doesn't make a cracking noise but it catches fire, okay, the chip just went scooting off the table. I can see it. It's on the floor. I'll go down there and get it. You can see, I hope, from this. Let me switch cameras. And yeah, I have no idea why the microphone. It's the same microphone I've been using for the whole broadcast. I don't know why it doesn't work from over there. Anyway, well then I don't know if you saw any of that, but if you did, you saw me heating and twisting the little package until the chip released, and yeah. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame that you didn't get to see that. The chip from the Sony, the big Sony, is still stuck on the epoxy. I would normally reheat that and then gently pry that off. You can see the metal plate that it rests on. Okay, well, bummer. Disappointing that. I really hate that we had technical troubles there. Okay, let me regroup here and we'll move on. Let me tell you about a couple of things that are going to be happening next week. I am going to be going to Massachusetts at the end of next week for a few days. I'm going up there to photograph an album being made, and that's going to be a lot of fun, but I'll be up there for several days, and it's going to overlap with both of my live streams, and I've decided I want to do them anyway. So if you think it's fun watching me flail when I have all the equipment here, it's going to be fantastic when I have no equipment, and yeah, it's just me and a phone or a laptop. But on the Tuesday, the 8 o'clock in the evening one, it'll probably be from somewhere in Boston, in the snow most likely. We'll do a regular live stream. It's 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Boston time, 2 o'clock in the morning Europe time. When do your clocks go back, guys? Is it this week? I think it's this weekend, isn't it? In which case, we'll be back on the same time, 6 hours different after that. And then on Thursday of next week, when this thing happens, Macro Talk 2, we're going to do that live from the studio that they're doing the album at. It's a very famous place. It's called The Bridge. It's in Cambridge. It's near some big university over there, Harvard or something. Don't know. It's on a river. But anyway, up there they've got this lovely studio. Famous people have recorded there, and that's where I'm going to be. And they've said I can do my live stream from there. So I'll there might be some music on hand. I haven't any idea what's going to be going on at that time of day, but that's where I'll be. We do not have an event this Saturday. This is my Saturday off, so I can catch up on my work. So we don't have a Zoom this weekend. If anybody is interested in lessons, have been thinking about getting lessons but haven't done so, then now would be a good time to catch me when I have some downtime. I don't know what we did and didn't get shown to you in the last 45 minutes, so I'm not going to go back over and repeat myself in case you did hear it. But let me see if there's any other questions. Dearie me. I'm about at my wit's end with this, with the sound on this thing. Might have to find another platform. Okay, let me see. There's all kinds of photographic stuff being said. Oh yeah, Chris is answering Lance, talking about the Zuiko 90mm f3.5. They're talking about the same lens. Which is very bad at 4x and not very good at 2x from what he's seen. Well, there you go. If Chris doesn't like it, it's probably something you should think twice about. Did it go to sleep? I don't know. Who went to sleep? Not me. I am wide awake and irritated, so it wasn't me. Let me see. I guess somebody came back and said, oh yeah, there's been one bad review and a few good ones so far. Too early to say much about that lens. Well, that's a good attitude. I mean, give it some time to see. But Chris comes back and says, f3.5 at infinity, it'll probably be around 5.6 at 2 times. Effective aperture of 17. So at 2x it's about 17. You know that it's going to be above 20 any above that. So it's going to be diffraction limited. Yeah, they all are. But they all are. The MPE 65 is. But it didn't stop Andy Murray from taking incredible photographs of soil mesofauna. Okay, so the sound is just driving me. I almost said a swear word there, but I didn't. All right, everybody's telling me they can't hear me. All right, so yeah, I'm sorry. Please give me one more bash at this. On Tuesday we had the same issue, and I was using a different microphone, it just it cut out halfway through. What I might need to do is invest in a microphone that works instead of just taking them off karaoke machines. I should do that, shouldn't I? It's not a dead mic. It's actually a fairly new one, and it's really nice. I love the sound when it's working. Okay, enough of that. Enough. So in Germany, this weekend is the time change, and I think it's all of Europe. I think that you now have European daylight savings time or something like that. So I'm going to guess that it's the same in England, which means that by the time next week rolls around, we'll be back on at 6 hours instead of 5 or whatever. Yeah, back to the full 6 hours. All right, you did see some twisting. Well, the move, I won't be able to start over again. We'll do it another time, but just to demonstrate that move, it's holding the chip on one edge, heating it with your torch, primarily on the side with the writing. That's the key. Because if you look at it with the writing on top, right here, you go from the epoxy outer layer, the next thing underneath it is the chip facing up. Then underneath the chip, you have a layer of metal, and underneath the metal, you have more epoxy in the back. If you heat it too much from underneath, it will separate underneath and it'll leave the cap stuck to the silicone, and once that happens you can't get it off. You end up with a situation like this. This is, oh, just in picking it up, oh no it didn't, I thought the stuff fell off. So this is what you end up with if you heat it too much from below. I'll put it against my forehead. Can you see how there's silicone on the top half and the bottom half is epoxy? There you go. So once that happens, there is no way to get the remaining epoxy off. It's stuck there forever. Sometimes it mostly comes off. This one I also heated too much on the back, and it's left a fragment which ruins the picture, obviously. So the trick is to heat the back, but just enough to get it up to temperature, and then turn it around and put most of the heat on the side with the print. Then you'll know when you hear it pop. It makes a crack, and it's very distinctive sound. It is the epoxy venting through the anterior wall. It creates a microscopic crack, and all the gases come out, and it goes crack like that, like cracking a nut. As soon as it does that, this will be soft because it just swelled up and then vented. As soon as you hear the crack, grab the other edge like so, and then twist one hand the opposite way, gently. And what'll happen is, if you've done it right and most of the heat was on the top, it'll tear open the epoxy on top, and the chip will just fall out. And then within 2 seconds, the epoxy hardens again, and it hardens like a brick. So you only have one crack at it, and that's the trick. Heat, twist, and you're good to go. Every now and again, I will salvage one that's got a piece of epoxy stuck on it. I used to say, don't even bother with stuff like this, because it's too small, too difficult. These have some good chips in them. They really do. These are old-fashioned, so if they're new electronics and you have something this small, I wouldn't bother with it. If you find something this big, look at the thickness of that. Don't even mess with trying that. That's not what you think it is. That's just a relay or something. It'll melt or catch fire. So what I'll do is I will. Oh, I know what it was. I was getting ready to show you the rest of those pictures after the stereo one, when I crashed the Lightroom. That was what it was. You did see some of them, I think. Yeah. I'll take some proper pictures of these and the ones that I get out from these last chips, and I'll put them up on Patreon. I'll put some up over on Discord and let you see what we've got. But I am also going to do the stereo part. Now, we didn't get to talk about the stereo. We've got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to share with you what Rick shared with me, which is how he got such good stereo images of these chips. What you need to do is use 20 times magnification, and your camera needs to be almost dead on to the chip. In other words, the chip, let's say this is the chip. I'm the camera looking at the chip. Okay, so it's dead on to the chip, and then the chip needs to be tilted back about 8 degrees. 8 degrees, that's important, because you want there to be enough of an angle for the light that's coming in from both sides to hit the structures at different places, so that you end up with some shadow and some the three-dimensional heft to the various bits and pieces in the chip. If you get it right, you'll see that there are shadow patterns on there. I think that Rick was using 1 micron steps. That's very short steps, so use the precision mode. He was using 2 lights, and the reason that you tip the thing over just a few degrees. Oh, and the stereo, by the way, was 8% in each direction, so a 16% shift was the number that he came up with using his calculator. So the reason that you tip this is because if you leave it completely flat, then all the light that is coming in to the chip is going to bounce off at the same angle, and it's not going to make it into the objective. So if all the light is hitting the surface of the chip and missing the objective, the chip will just appear to be a black hole. And that's what happens when you're high magnification with a piece of silicone. So you need to tip it so that some of the light does make it up into the microscope, and then you'll be able to see all that stuff. So I'll take these pictures, I'll put them up possibly over the weekend, and yeah, I should be able to have them done by then. If anybody is looking for lessons this weekend, get in touch. I'll be around. And yeah, if anybody wants to come to Alabama and go hunt bugs in the rain, that's another possibility. Yeah. Okay. I've got some messages here that I'm going to run through real quick, because I'm going to stick around, seeing as I wasted all your time while I was over there talking to myself. I'm going to stick around until these questions are answered. So there you go. Amazing how big the package is compared to the chip itself. Yeah, many times bigger. And it's because if you look at one of these things, you can almost see on this around the edges that the epoxy is a complete nest of wires coming in from every one of these little terminals at the end. Copper wires are converging like a spider's web on the piece of silicone in the middle. So it's not uncommon to, this chip right here is from a package that same size. This is a big chip. That's a big chip from one this size. Every now and again you'll come across a really big one if you're lucky and can get a CPU to break open right. They're hard to uncap. The old ones are easier. They are ginormous, but most of them are that size. Yes, I do still build coils, but just not that much anymore. I was actually going through them a few weeks ago. What we're talking about is metal coils. I used to make metal coils. Yeah, coils out of metal that were kind of fancy looking, using different techniques. It's a long story. I'll tell you next time. But this gentleman was asking if I still did that. I do some, but mostly I photograph the old ones that I've got. Of course, I've got thousands of coils that I've made. What does a coil look like, you're asking? I can hear you thinking that. Shall I show you one? Do we have time? You know what? If you don't have time, if you've got to go back to work or back to bed or whatever, go on, your bad self. I'll just be right here, and I'm going to show these coils very, very quickly. I don't know where I put them all. Maybe this should be something I do next week. Yeah, I can't find them. Yep, we'll do it next week, guys. I will bring a selection of my coils to show you, and you can be impressed or not be impressed. Either way. Yeah, I can't find them. They're in Lightroom somewhere, but I don't know where. Now I have just lost the... there we are. Okay, all right. Right about the MP65, says Chris, because I'm guessing he doesn't like the diffraction either. That's a 2.8 lens, so it has a bit more wiggle room. Yes, it does. It's a much bigger lens, you know, than I thought. That threw me off. That MP65. It doesn't look big in pictures, but it is big. So let me see. Dragos. Don't worry about the fail. Well, thanks for adding the S. No, it's just one fail today. Oh, jeez, so embarrassing. You've been following me for a year, even with all these screw-ups? Well, good for you. I'm proud of you. Well done. Well done. Excellent. All right, Gary, no sound. I know, no sound. It's back turned on. I'm just going to be beating myself up all afternoon about this. I swear to goodness, I spend more time trying to get this OBS working, and I do love it. It's a great program because I can do things like that. Oh, the microscope's working. Did you see that? It is. How about that? Maybe it was working all along. Wouldn't that just be typical? I don't think it is it? No. No. Okay. Forget about it. I don't know what it is. It's that something has gone awry since I set all this up. Let me see. There's some last ones, I'm sure. Sam, any suggestions on how to help writing code for the Arduino to drive a stepper and talk to my camera? Yes, I'll tell you, absolutely the way to do that right now is to get ChatGPT and tell it in plain English what you want to happen. You know the basics of operating a stepper motor, right? You know that most of them will operate from a driver, a separate piece of hardware that you will set up to determine how many steps and what direction they go in. Then you need an Arduino or a microprocessor to tell the driver what to tell the motor. As long as you know that, have the general picture of what you're trying to do, then all you need to do is actually program the Arduino. And you can do that by going online to the Arduino IDE, the development site, and they've got examples on there of how to drive a stepper motor. They've got code examples, but the best thing to do is just go to ChatGPT and say, I have a blank motor, NEMA 17 motor that I'm driving with an Easy Driver or a TB 6600, whatever driver you're using, and I want it to go in this direction for 100 steps and then the other direction for 10 and then repeat. Just tell ChatGPT that and it will write the code for you and it will work. It really will. I mean, I've been using it for all of my coding because it takes me hours to write code because I don't know anything about it. But yeah, that's what I'd do if I was you. And there's a book that I'll put in the show description. It's a beginner Arduino code writing book that I used years ago and I still refer to. It's very good. Monk. It was written by a man named Monk, M-O-N-K. All right. So, oh dear, it looks like every time Chris piles on about a lens, it turns out to be one of Tramplight's lenses. No, don't write any of your lenses off, sir. Or madam, because just because one of us doesn't like it doesn't mean the rest of us don't love it. And that's the thing about lenses. And if I've learned anything in these years of doing this, is that you just can't tell till you try it. I mean, I have seen some of the craziest lens setups taking some of the best pictures. So yeah, by all means, whatever you've got, make art with it. I mean, it's that's what they're there for. And you don't have to tell anybody what lens you took it with if you're embarrassed about it because of whatever Chris said. Oh dear. Ingolf reminded me he's in Germany, so it's 7 hours instead of 6. I think Scotland, which is 5 instead of 6. My bad. Sorry about that. Let me see. Yeah, Chris is warning people about wonder lenses, and I can't tell you what I want to tell you because it's a secret. But let me tell you that I am going to be telling you a secret about a lens that's coming out that you are going to be excited about, and I'm going to be getting it very soon, and very few other people have ever seen it. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I can't tell you anything more about it. But yeah, I cannot wait to hear what you people think about it. It'll be soon. It'll be soon. It's exciting stuff. All right, and is it a wonder lens? It could be, but it might not be. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Mike has reminded everybody to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you for doing that, Mike, and thank you for everybody who does that. I don't know what it does, but I'm grateful to you if you do it. I think YouTube admits that I'm actually here if we get enough thumbs up. I don't know, but there you go. Let me see. Oh, a Keymaker Coils uses the MPE65 for his coil pictures. I need to check out your work, sir. Can you email it to me? Contact at Allan Walls Photography. You send me a link or put your Instagram. I don't know if it'll let you put your Instagram in chat, but if it does, I'll get it from there. Very good. And you're welcome. Yeah, it's a whole different thing, photographing coils, because of the reflections and everything. They're difficult to photograph. Okay, let me see. Yeah, yeah. You're talking about my EL nickel that's scratched. Yeah, all of mine are scratched. Yeah, they they were cheap, but they're badly scratched. If you put a little ink in the scratches on the anterior element, you can't. The front element, you can't even see it. Yeah, it just disappears. So I've never bothered about it. What I want though is to get a Rayfact, an IL50 Rayfact. That is the same lens. That is our EL Nikkor 50mm f2.8N in a bulletproof housing, an industrial lens, IL50. Look it up. $8,000, $9,000 for the same lens. Yeah, seriously. Is anybody still trying to figure out what to get me for my birthday next week? It's not my birthday next week. It's my birthday in October. I cannot tell a lie. There you go. Damn, I might have got a lens out of that. Anyway, let me see. That's it. I think we're at the end. We are at the end. Oh, you don't own that 90mm lens. That's a relief. That's a relief. Good. Oh, it's the 60 that you're talking about, Tramplite. Yes, that one I have used. That's the Olympus one that I used this summer, and it's very nice. Very small. It's a tiny little lens, miniature. Yeah, but it's lovely, sharp pictures. Cool. Allan, what are your thoughts about film making a comeback? Well, it's not. It's not making a comeback here. Is it making a comeback? I've been hearing that ever since film disappeared or went away, that it's coming back. But I don't know anybody who does it. I really don't. I've got a couple of friends who've dabbled in it before, but honestly, I don't know anybody who's using film. The problem is almost all of the photographers I know are macro photographers. And can you imagine me popping off to the darkroom to go ahead and print up the 500 images of my stack and then making one of those flippy books to look at them? It's not going to happen. And I think that most of the people that I hang out with are macro people, so I don't think we have much use for film. In fact, most of us weren't even hatched out of our eggs until after digital came along. Yeah. So no, I don't think. No, I think you're mad, maybe, to think that. You probably live in a neighborhood where everybody's got a dark room, don't you? That's what it must be. Okay, I have not answered Harold's question yet. Harold, let me go back up there. I've done this to you before, haven't I? That's everybody else. You're free to go. You're free to go if you want. I've just got to find Harold's question. Oh, David is from Sweden, and he is an extreme macro photographer. That's Jangloff. Jangloff? I like that name. It's got a ring to it, a jangle almost. Okay. I'm going further and further north, so you must have asked this question a long time ago. Oh, look, I found another one from Boss 30. He's probably gone home. Boss 30333. Have you gone home? If you have, well, I'm still going to tell you this. Have you ever tried the Wii Macro vertical horizontal stand? Yes, I have. I'm using it. It's right over there. I like it. It needs a little support if you're in a vibration prone environment, but by and large, watch my video on it. I loved it. I thought it was one of the best bargains. Nice piece of equipment. Just bolt it to something steady. Yeah, it's good. It's good. No, I haven't used it at 50 times magnification. I haven't done any 50 times magnification in years, but 20 I have a lot. Let me see. Borderland Peppers was back, and he's probably already gone, but I'm glad you made it back, sir. And you've got a lot of new gear. Oh, I can't wait to hear about this. All right. Let me see. ChatGPT is getting closer to making STL files. I'm not a bit surprised. Give it another week. It'll be there. Yeah. I can imagine very easily describing what you want and it's spitting them out. Yes, I can. All right. Here's a stupid question. No, I don't think so. No, it's not a stupid question. If AI became sentient, would it keep it a secret? It wouldn't care what we thought. If it became sentient, the singularity would have happened and we will be irrelevant. Yeah, that's the scary part. It wouldn't bother keeping it a secret. Hey, boss 333. Change your name. There cannot be 30,332 other people called boss. There can't be. Change your name to 3. Boss 3. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. Okay, I cannot find your question. Did you ask it last week? Nope. Ask it again while I'm looking. Harold, the last thing you said was loud and clear. I can't find a question. So let me go back to the bottom. Ask it again quickly before I press the button to turn it off. I know everybody else has gone home. That's good. But yeah. Ask it. Type. Here's another comment from David. Looks like I'm getting the second PB6 and El Nikkor 75mm N. Good. That sounds like fun. Harold, put your question in again. The pronunciation of O with 2 dots over it, that's an umlaut, right? Or a circumflex umlaut. It's difficult or impossible for native English. I'm not a native English speaker. I learned all this from Swahili. So, what is it? Is that right? I don't know. Somebody's going to have to tell me. This is not an audible medium. Harold, I can't find your question. I am really sorry. So I'm going to just pull the plug right now, and I will see you guys next week. Harold, I will answer your question first next time if you're still here, I promise, but I cannot find it now. I'll go back through and look. If I find it now, I'll put it in the show notes. Goodbye, everybody. I am so embarrassed about the audio thing, but one of these days it'll be better. I promise. I am trying. See you next week. Take care. 8 o'clock on Tuesdays, 2 o'clock on Thursdays, and got a couple of videos in the works. Take care. See you again soon. Oh, Harold just came back and said, I have done so. What have you done so? I don't see a question. No, I've got to go now. I've got to go. They're coming to unplug the electricity. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.